On 2 acres of woods just north of Waco, James Bays carved a garden for his wife Peggy. It was the property of their dreams, now a favorite destination for their children and grandchildren. One grandson even chose the garden for his wedding. Now a master gardener, James learned to work with shade when he started with a few beds near the house.
It just grew from there. And I guess you'd say it's been a continually going on project for about 9.5, 10 years, and it's still going on.
The garden's been good therapy since he lost Peggy on Valentine's 2008.
Peggy was, she loved garden, loved to be out here, but she wasn't a hands-on type. That just wasn't her thing.
But Peggy liked how James turned their dream property into a garden.
Every spring when it starts warming up, I get the itch, I guess. I get the itch to go out and dig in the dirt. So that's what I do.
James is also a craftsman who built the home's interior furniture from salvaged trees that he milled himself. His first project outdoors was building the patio. When he built the outdoor living room and its furniture, again, James used scavenged materials.
We call it the barn, and some people call it the gazebo. I don't think the gazebo is really very good descriptive of it. I think a barn might be better.
His son felled the ash juniper posts when clearing for a house along the Brazos River. Then James milled them.
I'd been looking for posts like that, and I never dreamed I could find any as huge as these are.
The crossbeams came from clearing junipers on the property next door. James also recycles tree cuttings into the garden's furniture and structures. He made use out of bricks from his sister-in-law's employer when water damage ruined them for sale. His garden throne is petrified wood, once a post on his childhood home. He recycles every nursery pot to grow cuttings for Master Gardener sales and for his own cuttings.
All these begonias you see growing in the ground were here last year, and last fall, before the frost hit, I come out and shear them off and take them out to the greenhouse and root them. And so most of the plants you see here was actually the same plants that was growing here last year. So I guess you could say I recycle plants too. I operate on a very low budget and just kind of a laid back thing, and whatever kind of plants I got available, that's what I use. A lot of people think they got to have all the fancy stuff, the fancy pots, the high dollar pots. This is just a very rustic type garden, and the little plastic pots or whatever don't bother me at all. I think if you got the plants growing in them and they're lush enough, people don't even see the pot anyway. You know, they don't look at the plant.
James recycles water, too, in his personally designed rainwater collection system. He's recycled his attitude as well, since now he's mostly in shade.
The blooms to me is a bonus. The green, pretty green plants is what I'm really looking for.
But he can't resist growing roses where he does have sun. He relies on fellow master gardeners and friends, Isla Jean, Judy, and Barbara, for advice and design experience.
And I have found that if you garden right and do everything right, it's not that labor intensive. The big thing is this mulch that controls probably 95 to 98% of your weeds. And so my thing every morning is I'll get a cup of coffee and I'll walk out and I'll walk around. If I see a weed, I pull it out, you know, and then I'll sit down and drink my coffee, and that way you keep it weeded. Don't ever get to be a big chore. I'd use a lot of compost. All these beds, if you notice, most of my beds are built up, and there are two reasons for that. It helps keep so many tree roots. As you can see, that's a problem. You're getting tree roots that wants to take over. And these beds basically are built with compost, and it's composted leaves off of these trees. Every fall I rake them up, and I got a compost pile out back, and we compost and we move them in here. And I use hardly no fertilizer. If you do it right, if you use compost, and then as that mulch breaks down, I use the wood pulp mulch. As it breaks down over the years, it goes into the ground, and between the nature and the earthworms, they work it in. And I have also found that the information that's on the plants when you buy them, it's probably pretty good, but don't believe it totally. As you learn to look at plants and learn what the leaf texture is and the kind of leaves they got on them. You kind of get a feel of where they'll work for you or not. And I've had plants that I buy that and they don't work, you know, and so you get rid of them. And I'm not looking for a florist quality plant. I'm looking for a plant that just looks pleasing to the eye. If people want to grow a florist quality plant, they're probably going to be in for a lot of disappointments. But I found that if you grow your plants right, keep them groomed, pull all the dead leaves and keep the spent blooms off, your plants are going to look good.
Diligence, patience, hard work, and acceptance of conditions and yourself is the life and garden formula that James prescribes.
Each year I try not to take on too much at one time. I think the garden needs to be your own personality. I think whatever you like, that's what you need to have in a garden. It's just a good feeling, just to come out and see what you have helped God create and sit there and enjoy it.